By 2050, fossil fuels will need to be eliminated from the European energy sector. What is the vision of the market player about to transform the European energy sector?
The vision for the future is clearly quite different in different parts of Europe, in different countries. But there are a couple of common elements. And one very strong element is that in order for us to be able to decarbonize fully and to do this in a cost-efficient manner, so in a manner that we don't run into extremely high costs, that means that efficiency will have to come first. It is not possible to draw on any single solution on a very large scale without bringing down energy demand first very much. Therefore, the first priority, both in heat but throughout the end uses, is to bring down energy demand, in particular building energy demand through the retrofit of buildings, preferably deep retrofits, which means having at least 80, perhaps 90% reduction in the heating and cooling needs. The next step is to decarbonize the different fuels and energy sources that are presently being applied. But of course, there is a lot of transition in this over the next couple of decades. Some partners or some stakeholders see a role for increasing electrification, but it was very interesting that in a recent debate with different industrial stakeholders representing quite a broad spectrum from the energy industry, actually they didn't see a strong need for electrification, but rather that it's important to decarbonize the actual fuels. Clearly, natural gas will have to play a very important bridging role. And there is a big question how to make sure that those investments into this bridging will actually pay back, and there is time to amortize these investments, but retire them in time for the time we need to fully decarbonize.
What is the role of cogeneration?
The role of cogeneration is also quite different in different parts of Europe. Eastern Europe and some of the Northern European countries, which traditionally have a higher share of cogeneration and perhaps more important and centralized energy has been playing a more important role, these will have clearly bigger shares in the solution space. Other parts of Europe, Germany, Central Europe, seem to be going more towards a larger share of decentralization and more prosumers who produce their own energy, and their cogeneration plays a less important role probably in supplying this sector. Nevertheless, in the industrial sector and in the large-scale consumers, definitely this can play a very important role and should play a very important role, since it's very important to understand that already presently the waste heat which is available in Europe would be able to supply all the heat needs, for example, of buildings. But of course, it's not so easy to match this particular supply and demand. But definitely in a smart decarbonization strategy, we take more advantage of these large-scale opportunities where large-scale does offer economies of scale, so major wins in efficiency.